This is the greatest moment in my life. We had to run our mouths, didn't we?
Hey, yo.
Such a depressed hey, you're there.
I've just watched 3 great Khali matches back to back.
And that, folks, is the end of chain wrestling as we know it.
I honestly,
you've ruined it. You bastards have ruined it for us.
You put it up there, mate. I'm holding you responsible for this as well.
And that's why I titled this episode "Me and My Big Gob."
Yeah,
and
I can see that.
While pre-recording, we were saying that you give the CWF an inch and they take a bloody mile, because what they've done over the past couple of days has totally altered the format of this show. We now have to drop segments. So they've become the Yes Movement of this show, essentially. They've taken over the show, and we're now having to book on the fly.
We are. We're good at that, though. We're good at well, I'll say booking on the fly makes it sound
able to do that.
Booking on the fly makes it sound kind of grandiose or clever, or like we're capable. I think we just kind of fucking winging it, to be honest.
Yeah. But at least there was a bit of structure. But now that structure's gone out the window. You're going to struggle because you have it all set down in a little timeline of what comes next. And we're cutting out one of the features on purpose for these guys.
Nah, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. Basically, just so everyone's aware in the CWF, in the chat and so on, we've had to make a little alteration to today's show. So the normal segment that begins the show, whether that's Hall of Lame or Mags v Sai, that's kind of been pushed back for a week because our non-wrestling topic received so many responses. We're concerned about still being here this time Thursday night. So, yeah, indeed. I mean, the fact that we've got 3 wrestling matches to look at isn't the issue because they're all quite short, thank God. But
yeah, I mean, so for people who already know, I don't go on Twitter much. So I wasn't aware that this NWT had taken a life of its own. And Sam messaged me midweek and said, "We've got about 20 odd replies to this NWT. We're going to have to come on earlier." And I said, "No, fuck that. We'll power through. We won't give the Khali matches too much of a review because, I mean, there's not that much of them to review." And then I saw the amount, and yeah, we had to cut it, unless this show was going on until midnight. We had to cut something. Luckily, it was something that we both didn't revise or research.
That's it. Indeed, we did. So on that note, with a massive, huge, potentially the biggest non-wrestling topic that we have had so far since Chain Wrestling Live started 121 episodes ago, and 3 wrestling matches to cover, sadly, because they're all fucking shite. I suppose we better start the show, Mr. Mags, hadn't we?
Yes.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever and whenever you may be listening or watching from. This is Chain Wrestling Live with Mags and Sai, a SJP World Media production, episode 121, as I just said. I am Sai, and with me, as always, is the great Khali to, my God, this was shitty. So bad. The nerve hold, yeah, because there's a lot of them, to the this got old very, very quickly. After about 30 seconds of the first match, I was fucking fed up. A podcaster who snogs, marries, and kills quite often all on the same date, but he hasn't been caught yet. The podfather himself, Lord Mags. How are the chickens, my friend? I don't give a shit how you are. This is partially your fault.
I mean, the chickens are amazing. They're now all laying every single day. I cannot fault my ladies. So much so I've actually got 4 more chickens to add to the flock at the end of the month.
Nice.
So chicken maths is real. When you think you're going to get some, you end up getting double that amount.
And you named them, haven't you?
Yeah.
I expect one of the new ones to be called Khali when it arrives.
No, absolutely not. That will be going in some southern fried chicken if it ends up being called Khali.
Mate, what is wrong with you? What is wrong
Hey,
with you?
once those eggs stop popping out, them necks get ringed. Rung the necks. Yeah.
Before we jump into the chats to see who has joined us, I want to say a big thank you to our friend King Pigs Bladders, the Photoshop wizard himself, who, by no request of our own, has just took it upon himself to send us backgrounds for the live shows. And the fact that this guy works, this guy is obviously creating content and backgrounds and so on for other shows as well. A huge thank you. I'm a little concerned that I just noticed that we're surrounded by lines of what appear to be nipples, though, Mags.
We are. They give us two options, one with nipples and one without nipples. So obviously we go with the nipple option. Makes absolute sense.
Fair enough. But yes, thank you very much.
I second that. His artwork is absolutely amazing. Way better than the borrow off the internet and slap a few stickers on artwork that I do. So yeah, it's massively appreciated. And he may get an extra present for it later in the show.
Oh, interesting. Who has joined us in the chat though, Magsy, before we crack on with our non-wrestling topic this week?
Well, speak of the devil, first comment in the chat is from King Pigs Bladders himself. And he's getting me to quote. So these are the words of him, not of me. But he says, essentially, professional wrestling is like wine tasting. Some people can't get past the performance aspect of it all and long for the simplicity of life without spice and without pantomime. That sounds really depressing, doesn't it?
Fits well with what we've got to watch this week.
Yeah, a life without pro wrestling would be depressing, though.
It would. Well, I could have quite happily not watched pro wrestling today with what I watched for the show.
You have to watch the bad to appreciate the good.
Okay. Yeah, okay. We'll look at it that way. Fair enough.
And he then says, evening, guys. Dan Griffin rubbing it in our faces. Are we all ready for a Khali-rific good time? Fuck you, Dan. How's that? Kings, please, Bladder. Hi, Dan. And Sharon with the weekly. It's Monday. You know what that means. Yeah, it means we have to watch Khali 3 times. I wish I didn't put that up. Why do I have to be a clever knobhead?
I don't know, mate. I really don't know.
I ruin things for myself. And then we get the typical CWF backslapping fest. Hi, Sharon from King's Pig Bladders. Connor, hello, Magnus. Hello, how are you, sir? Dan Griffin, evening shot, evening Bladders. Give us an inch and we'll take the piss. Exactly. That's literally what we were saying pre-record. Give you douchebags an inch and you take a mile. But we love you for it. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Scottish Danny, hello, sir. How are you? Dan Griffin, hey up, Connor, hey up, Danny, and Morty in the chat.
Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you, sir? Sharon saying hi to everybody else, and we get that a lot more. There we go. A new comment though, Dan Griffin. Welcome to Khali Mania. Scottish Danny says Khali Mania. Oh, this is a hot take. Khali Mania over Coffee Mania. Oh, I don't know about that. Morty being added into the backslapping group with King's Pigs Bladders there. Dan Griffin, 4 minutes spent their morning. They had so much to do rather than the stuff that they actually have to do. Exactly. Morty says it's like being at work, Uncle Griff. King's Pigs Bladders. Mags the chicken whisperer. Do you know they're producing more eggs than we can actually eat now? We've given away about 18 eggs.
Right. Okay. Why?
Yeah.
Well, send them down here then.
I don't. There'd be actual full-blown chickens by the time they got to Gloucester. Scottish Danny, I'll be dropping Khali memories, useless trivia throughout the night. Please don't, please. Max should name his chickens Korma, Biryani, Piazza, and Vindaloo. Oh, that's 2 on the nose for me, surely. King's Pigs Bladders says, understandable. My pleasure, guys. Yeah. Benny Mac in the chat. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello.
We'll be hearing a little bit more from Benny Mac later on, I dare say. Scottish Danny, Khali, fact number 1. Khali got into the WWE Hall of Fame before Vader. That's bad. How bad is that?
That is shocking, isn't it?
Five Nerds Go. Hello, how are you, Matt? Came for the NWT, stay for the Khali Fest.
Khali is a draw. Khali is a draw with the CWF. Look at this. No wonder all these matches are on pay-per-view.
All SummerSlams as well. Grim.
Indeed. Before we get on then with our ridiculous amount of cringe-worthy questions for the non-wrestling topic, there's a couple of things I want to quickly touch upon with regards to podcasting and the network and so on. I mentioned pretty much at the end of every show that I record on the network that there's new stuff coming all the time. And one of those we're going to talk about in a moment with a little promotional clip that's been made by the host of that show, which is pretty cool. The other one actually leads to a tweet that I put out a few days ago, maybe a week ago, basically saying any gentleman, any man, any fella, or anyone in particular, I guess, who's ever suffered with any form of mental health issues, no matter how big or small, and they want to talk about this, get in touch. We'll do it for a podcast and hopefully raise awareness of this scenario. And if one person listens to any of those conversations, then and it helps them, then it's done good for me. Even if just one person listens and gets something from that. I want to say, first of all, thank you so much to everybody who responded, who DM'd me, who retweeted, and so on. It's kind of snowballed out of control. The original idea was a couple of one-off shows, potentially under the SJP podcast banner, because that's where I kind of chuck any random conversations I want to do under that bracket. Just, to have brief conversations, thinking maybe a couple of people will reach out. There has been so much positive response to this from people in the CWF, people who we know on Twitter who maybe don't join us live on a Monday night, people who I don't know. Some people have literally followed me to be able to DM me to say, I'd love to come on and talk. So first of all, I am in no way qualified to be able to discuss anything down that road, with regards to any qualifications or sensibilities or anything. All I can do is discuss my own personal issues. And that's kind of where my conversation will be coming from. Secondly, thank you to everyone who is brave enough to reach out and have that conversation with me. I will be getting back to you all in time. Is going to take time because there is so much now that I've got to go through because it has really snowballed. And Magsy and I were talking just before we went live to say how much that has sort of escalated from being this idea of one or two conversations to effectively we're looking like it's going to be its own separate podcast with various length of seasons and series and whatever, and numerous episodes. It's fantastic how much everyone wants to open up, and from that, I suppose, support others. So that's testament to everyone listening to the podcast version, everyone live with us now, anyone on Twitter who's joining us online at any point. Thank you so much for the reaction. Thank you so much for the response. Thank you so much for the interest. And I just hope that when we get around to doing it, it does justice for the quite important topic that is going to be discussed, Magsy.
Yeah, like I said to you before the show, I'm so glad that you're doing something like this, taking a step to help people.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's so many options as well. I mean, I'm going to get back to everybody. So even if I don't respond straight away, even if a couple of weeks go by and you go, Si hasn't got hold of me yet, feel free, of course, always to drop me another message and go, hey, Si, don't forget about me, of course. But I will get round to everybody. It's going to be a case of just setting something up. And like I said, it's kind of escalated to a much bigger situation than I anticipated it would do. So these things do take time, but it will be happening. And hopefully then, by having conversations, by everyone talking and listening to these conversations and interactions with each other online, basically we can all look after each other, can't we?
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of talk about mental health and people reaching out and being able to speak up about it, but there's still very few places where men can do that, where men can go and speak out. So the fact that you're doing this, yeah, even if it, like you said, even if it helps one person, it's a great thing.
Yeah, there we go. Now, that aside, we have more new content coming to SJP World Media. A couple of projects that are confirmed, set to go, including live shows and so on, that I'm not at liberty yet to spill the beans on, because the hosts and the people who are creating these shows, not me, want it kept under wraps until a little bit closer to start time. Amazingly, none of it is actually wrestling content. So SJP World Media, again, broadening its horizons with different topics and different subject matters. And again, like I said, more live shows joining the network too. So more live content for you on different nights of the week and so on. However, one of these live shows is a show that, is hosted by somebody that we know very, very well. And we have a little bit of a video package here created by that individual to promote what they're doing, Mags, don't we?
We certainly do. So let's watch it now.
Are you ready? No! I said, are you ready? It all started on the block, hip-hop trendsetters, the school of hard knocks, and that attitude era. Yeah, I just wanted to be one of the best, holding the mic as I'm yelling out, D-Generation X. I will remember it. I never forget it. We've come a pretty long way. There's so much I can say. It's never really gone away. I feel it in my veins. Right down through you.
Wow.
Yes, that is right. In the corner, we'll be going live. Your weekly updates, sometimes twice weekly updates on the world of modern day WWE, hosted by our great friend, Mr. Benny Mac, my co-host for the Waiting Room podcast as well, looking at Quantum Leap, out tomorrow morning, every Tuesday. Benny always releases on a Wednesday or a Thursday with regards to In the Corner, looking at Monday Night Raw and any particular pay-per-views, with our good friend Tyler Peters as well from the States, joining him there. And then sometimes we have a shorter solo edition later in the week, just looking at a brief SmackDown review before heading back again. But come the end of the month, after the Night of Champions pay-per-view, the first In the Corner live show will be broadcast right here on these platforms, on the SJP World Media live platforms, on Wednesday, the 31st of May. And I believe it was 7:30 is the time they're going live. And it's reviewing Night of Champions, looking at Monday Night Raw, talking about the new World Heavyweight Champion that WWE will be crowning on that event. And going forward, we will have live shows every Wednesday evening for people to jump on. I mean, I use In the Corner literally to listen to find out what's happened in WWE, because I don't watch it. So that's one aspect you can do there. We can wrestling fans can jump in, talk modern day wrestling, which is something that I don't think we cover on this show in any great depth. We touch upon a couple of bits here and there, but here you go. SJP World Media with In the Corner, Benny Mac, Tyler Peters, giving you all an option to basically sit down on a Wednesday evening, talk WWE, talk modern day product, and just see where that conversation takes you. I know Benny is in the chat. Benny, if you want to add any details at all, please post away, my friend. We'll read them out and we'll give them a shout. But I'm excited, Magsy. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's absolutely great news, and it's SJP World Media spreading its wings again. The fact that we're getting a SmackDown 2-hour Monday Night Raw, it's brilliant. Yeah, props to Benny and Tyler. Yeah, can't wait for that.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be good. I love In the Corner anyway. And the fact that people are going to be able to speak directly, as you do here, speak directly to Benny and Tyler as they're recording their show. Very similar to how we've got it here, and interact, ask questions, ask their opinions. And they'll probably give you the wrong answers because, Benny's a bit... No, I'm joking. But you can interact. And if Benny and Tyler say things you don't agree with, point it out, ask, and again, perhaps they'll ask you questions and get your feedback as well. So
take over their show instead of leave ours to its format.
Make them watch fucking Great Khali. But there we go. Yes, I'm over the moon for Benny. It's something I know he's wanted to do for a long time. We've been talking about it for many, many weeks. So having the date set in and so on, it's great. And I believe for the very first edition, I'm joining Benny live to talk about the World Heavyweight Championship and so on. So if you want to skip the first week, by all means, yeah. All right, Shavoni. But no, I'm looking forward to it. So, great stuff from Benny and Tyler there.
Superb news.
Magsy, we can't put it off anymore, can we?
I mean, to be fair, I'm actually more excited about this part than the wrestling. So,
okay.
Let's get into it.
NWT time. Oh! No wrestling talk here. It's the non-wrestling topic.
Lovely.
Nice. Lovely.
Nice. Ooh, lovely.
Lovely.
Dear me. Dear me. Okay. Our non-wrestling topic this week. Snog, marry, kill. And in the words of my 13-year-old daughter, turning to my wife when we were discussing the non-wrestling topic the other day, Charlie said, "That's such a preschool question." And my wife responded, "Have you ever seen your dad's show?" So it's some...
that's highbrow for us, preschool.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So I suppose I'll run through them in the order we get them, Magsy. But
this is going to be the worst part, keeping up with the order.
Well, if you can't keep up, we can't keep up. We'll just do what we can, see what we can do. I'd like people in the chat to play along as well. Give us a shout out if you decide, your snog, marry, kill. Who out of these options? Some of them are very, very obscure and strange and typical CWF cringe, I suppose. There we go. Primary school, my love. My wife says, what did I say?
Preschool.
Preschool. So what would that be? Nursery.
Nursery. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the level we aim for.
We do. We will begin with our good friend Dan Griffin at Dan Griffin 21, the other half of the Doctor Who pod on SJP World Media. An episode came out today, though, where he's on his own. The second part of his look at the computer game Edge of Reality Doctor Who game there. You can find it on the mainstream and the Doctor Who pod's own channel. Well worth a listen. Brilliant stuff. Podcast on your own is something that I have the utmost respect for anyone who can do it, because I can't. So well done, Dan, for that. Dan says, oh dear God, we're off already. Tank Abbott, David Arquette, 7.
Shall I go? I'll go first.
Yeah.
I would. Out of those, so you could only snog David Arquette.
You reckon?
You want to snog 7 the pedo or Tank Abbott, who would then rip your face off? So, yeah, it's David Arquette, because I could probably beat David Arquette up. So, snog David Arquette, marry Tank Abbott, just to keep your friends close but your enemies closer, and absolutely kill the living pedo fuck out of 7. So,
okay, I think we need to stipulate something here, right? When we're saying snog, marry, kill, you're saying if you snog Tank Abbott, he would get angry and rip your face off after. Yeah. In my mind, I thought this was a willing kiss by both parties. I didn't realize we'd be forcing ourselves on Tank Abbott.
Then. Even better. I'd still want to marry Tank Abbott, though.
Yeah.
Because he looks like a cuddly guy, doesn't he? He looks like he would cuddle you to death.
Yeah, but what if in his sleep he's got his arms around you, and then he gets like, what's it called when people are in war? Is it PTSD?
Yeah.
And he goes back to his cage fighting days and just like
beats the piss out
choking you out.
Yeah. I still wouldn't want to kiss him because I feel he would use tongue a lot.
Yeah. Tank Abbott looks like he would have a hairy tongue.
his tongue would have muscles.
Yeah, muscles upon muscles, like Scott Steiner's bicep would be Tank Abbott's tongue. I would obviously kill 7, the dirty nonce. I would snog Tank Abbott. I would marry David Arquette, because I think David Arquette's a bigger wrestling fan than Tank Abbott, so we could just watch old NWA stuff together, you know?
Yeah, and you could talk the night away before he anally rape you at that.
Fuck's sake. One question in, and you're talking about crying out loud.
There, as Morty says, look, I like how Mags's mind went straight to who would be the easiest to force a snog on.
Yeah. Again, though, we're not talking forced snogging. This is everyone is consenting adults in these scenarios. Okay, just want to stipulate this before we go any further.
We're 1 in, guys, and we've got about 30 more to cover.
5 Nerds Go at 5 Nerds Go on Twitter. All I've got here, Magsy, and you're gonna have to find it.
I know all about it. So you're missing out Dan Griffin's second one.
I'll probably come to that when I'm going along. So should we do that one now then, if you got it on the screen?
No. It's okay. I'll go back and forth. It's fine, isn't it?
Okay. 5 Nerds Go simply sent us 3 images of 3 different dudes in the bath. And
Yes.
for those on the audio version, obviously you're not going to be able to hear this. See this. Sorry, you are able to hear it. I hope, but I don't get it. I don't understand what I'm looking at, Mags.
It's the pictures of nightmares. So this is a website called Bathe in My Milk, and
Oh no.
This woman wanted men to come and take a photo of them bathed in a milk bath. And yeah, it's as grim as you think. I mean, the bathroom, you just discover something more grotty about the room with every single time you look at it. I mean, you've got the peeling wallpaper, the towel that is clearly used, the rope along the floor, the cleaning products, and yet the bath and the sink are as rammy as can be. Yeah, it's grim. I would kill all of these.
And you marry the last, wouldn't you?
I mean, if she's going to bathe you, I mean, there's something there. There is positives to this.
Oh my word!
No, I will burn these all with fire.
That's
and
if you check out
the website bathingmymilk.com, there's
more. Why are you advertising that? We're not sponsoring them. What the hell are you doing?
There's more of these.
How does it even?
Right, let's just do it. I would snog Big Viscera.
Right.
Kofi Kingston's dad, I would marry. And Jesus Christ, David Flair, after a rough night on the sesh, I would kill. Jeez.
I'm going to just go along exactly with the choices you've made, Magsy, so we can move on very, very quickly. For goodness sake.
This picture was a staple of the 5 Nerds Go podcast. And there's another one as well. And I can't for the life of me remember the characters involved, but essentially it was wrestling figures like paused in a scene. And I'm sure it was CM Punk was basically looking through the window at like maybe Chris Jericho and Triple H having sex with wrestling figures. Matt from 5 Nerds Go will probably be able to correct me on that, but yeah, that is also a very creepy image.
I want to just throw out there now, I'm so sorry to any member of my family, especially my children, if we're watching right now. I really, really apologize. Rob at UTT Rob on Twitter. Fucking hell. We have another shout here for Tank Abbott.
It's almost like they've got a podcast to promote there, isn't it?
It is. Snog, marry, kill Tank Abbott, Jenna Coleman, Scott Bakula. But remember, it's impossible to kill Tank Abbott.
Well, I've already got that one, so I'd snog Jenna Coleman.
Right.
I would marry Tank Abbott, as we've already established.
Okay.
And kill Scott Bakula for being a terrible actor in a horrific program.
I don't think we're going to make it to episode 122.
Oh boy.
I have been very, very clever with this one, I think, Magsy. I would kill Tank Abbott because the guy can't die. So thus I get away with not committing a murder.
But then he would come back and he would absolutely kill you for attempting to kill him.
Yeah, but then I would marry Jenna Coleman because, Clara, I love her.
But I think the rules are that you can marry him, but you never get to kiss them.
Oh, really? Is that the rules?
Yeah.
Oh, in that case, this changes everything. I would, if you can't kill Tank Abbott, I think I'd have to kill Scott Bakula. I'd have to snog Jenna Coleman and marry Tank Abbott then, yeah.
See, you've got to think about it logically. I mean, what good did Scott Bakula do for the world? He dove into loads of people's bodies, messing with their futures, thinking he's some hero, can't even make it back to his own town. He died on the way to his home planet.
Well, to be fair, his home planet, he wasn't a fucking Martian. To be fair, he meddled in their history to put right what once went. Never mind. Never mind. Let's move on.
It's the butterfly effect.
It is. At Pig's Bladders. Oh my God, they get worse. Well, I don't know about worse, considering the old milk bath situation.
They started bad and just carried on getting bad.
They don't get any better. And there's a glorious picture there of me and Magsy in wedding dresses marrying what I assume are evil dictators.
Yeah. I'm lucky I got King Jong-un. And you've got Pol Pot.
Pol Pot? Who's that?
He was I think, was it the leader of Zanzibar or something like that? And he essentially killed millions of his own people.
Zanzibar? That doesn't sound like a real place. That sounds like somewhere like Lord of the Rings or something.
I'm sure. I will look it up, but he was an evil dictator.
Okay, I will.
Cambodia. That's where it is.
Cambodia.
Yeah.
So not Zanzibar.
The same place.
Yeah, of course it is. Pigs Butters asks, first of all, we've got a couple here, so I have to fly through them quick. Mabel, Mae Young, Dan Lambert.
Jesus Christ, so you're missing some. That's on a different post. Why am I looking on? Yeah, you were looking at. Oh no, it's not. That's someone else has picked Maven. That's why. So Mabel would be. Oh, could you snog Mae Young out of those? Dan Lambert, I actually don't mind him. He's a tosser on AEW, but in terms of what he's done for MMA, so I would marry Dan Lambert.
Okay.
I'd snog Mae Young. Oh, Jesus Christ. A bit of sick actually came up then. I would snog Mae Young and I would absolutely kill Mabel. I mean, cholesterol kill Mabel, obviously, but I would finish the job.
Right. Okay. So just to be clear, if we marry them, we have no physical contact. We're just married to them.
Yeah. I mean, you can hold hands.
Oh, well, that's great then. Okay. I'd have to murder Mabel, kiss Mae Young, and I suppose if you marry Dan Lambert, at least you get tickets to cage fighting events and shit.
Cage fighting, you're such a you're stuck
UFC,
in the 90s.
MMA.
Well, he's the owner of one of the biggest MMA gyms in the world. Trained many UFC champions. So
okay. Cool. Barry Horowitz, Barry Windham, Barry from EastEnders.
Right, so kiss Barry Horowitz, marry Barry from EastEnders, absolutely kill and torture Barry Windham.
Why?
Because fuck the stalker. It's just Barry Windham with a mustache.
Yes, it is. But think of the Horseman. Think of the... Oh, my God, right. I'd marry Barry Windham, so I get to spend the rest of my life hearing about those wonderful NWA stories.
Well, I see he becomes an alcoholic drunk of a husband and he beats you up.
Yeah, I suppose.
Could have been a contender. I should have been WWF champion. Whack.
Well, then hang around in a company longer than 18 months, Barry. Fuck's sake. I would probably snog Barry Horowitz and I'd kill Barry from EastEnders. Just because I prefer wrestlers to people who have been in EastEnders, I guess.
Okay, that's mean, but there we go.
Peter Andre, Elvis, Cliff Richard.
Oh, kill Peter Andre. What a sniveling little turd.
Yeah.
Elvis, Cliff Richard gives off pedo vibes, so I don't really want to snog a pedo, but then again, I don't really want to marry a pedo. Oh, fuck. I made the wrong choice here straight away. I dived in way too quickly.
You also got to remember, didn't Elvis marry someone who was like 13 or something?
Yeah, he's a pedo as well, isn't he? But he could dance.
Oh, that makes it all okay then. If only
yeah.
Jimmy Savile could move like John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever, all would be forgiven. Fucking hell.
Yeah, and I suppose I've got to give Cliff his dues. He does a lot for charity. So I'm going to kill Peter Andre, snog Elvis, and marry Sir Cliff.
I would kill Elvis because we know that he was a bit of a wrong one. This is so difficult. I
hated this topic. Who put forward this topic?
This was your fault as much.
Me and my big gob.
I would probably marry Cliff Richards, snog Peter Andre, I guess. I guess.
He's a good-looking guy, but
yeah.
he'll be riddled with STDs.
I'd marry Peter Andre because, like you said, he's ripped, he's put together, so he could always just make our dinners, couldn't he, and put me on a diet plan. So there we go. Sorted.
He could, yeah.
Mankind, Dude Love, Cactus Jack.
I mean, technically they're all the same person. To break kayfabe, but playing the game, Dude Love feels like he'll be the only one who would be tender.
Yeah.
So he would have to be the kiss guy. Mankind,
Cactus Jack would be very abrasive, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I think Mankind feels like he'd be a hugger. So I'd marry Mankind and kill Cactus Jack.
Yeah, I'd go along with that. Cactus Jack's character, you don't want to spend any time with because he was a nasty piece of work, wasn't he? Whereas Mankind, his character kind of softened, turned into somebody you almost want to cuddle and look after. So yeah, I'll go along with that, Magsy. Makes a lot of sense. Oh God. Hitler, Pol Pot, King Jong-un.
Okay. So I'd snog Kim Jong-un just because he's the least horrific looking of the three. I would marry. I mean, they're all ugly pricks, but he's the least ugly of the pricks. I mean, he hasn't got a little mustache and flicky hair, and Pol Pot looks like a white Nelson Mandela.
We're so getting fucking cancelled, aren't we? This week, this is it.
I would snog King Jong-un. I'd marry Hitler just so I could henpeck him and maybe make him change his ways, and then I would kill Pol Pot.
Is that what you reckon the issue was with Hitler? Was it his wife just wasn't strong enough in trying to get him to alter his mindset?
No, the issue was that nobody liked his paintings, so he was a snarky little bitch.
Okay. I don't think I could. I was going to say I don't think I could marry Hitler, but at the same time, look at him.
Could I marry Hitler?
I can't believe I got to sit here and consider. Okay, snog Pol Pot. Marry Hitler, kill Kim Jong-un, I suppose.
He's the one who's committed the least amount of atrocities.
Is he?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's all pretty bad, to be fair.
Yeah, it is bad, but Hitler was part of the worst thing that ever happened in humankind. Pol Pot decimated his own people. At least Kim Jong-un hasn't got to that level yet. And you're killing him off before he gets there.
No, you're right. Hitler's got to be the one, hasn't he? It's not. Oh, that's not a sentence I ever thought I'd say.
Hitler's got to be the one. That's a T-shirt. That is a T-shirt.
For goodness sake. Honestly, you have no idea, any of you, how cringe this is for me right now, and how. Honestly, I put so much work into this network, and tonight it ends. Tonight it's
all those new shows we spoke about at the beginning gone.
Yeah, there we go. Dan Griffin on Twitter at DanGriffin21. And it's all the same person again, Magsy, but different incarnations. Kane from 97, Kane from 2001, Corporate Kane.
Right. So Corporate Kane is a little suck-ass little bitch.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would kill him. Kane in the mask, I think I would snog because I don't want to snog a real face Kane. So Kane 97, I would snog and marry Kane 2001.
I would marry Corporate Kane because at least you know that guy's got a job and he's bringing home the money.
Okay.
You know?
That's a fair assessment.
I suppose I'd have to kill 1997 Kane because in theory that guy was covered in burns and scabs and mankiness. He want to snog
but they were all in his mind.
Okay, marry Corporate Kane, kill 97 Kane, snog 2001 Kane. And as I'm bringing up which version of Kane I would snog, marry, or kill, my youngest daughter has joined the chat. Hi, Charlie. Wonderful timing.
Hi, Charlie.
I want to apologise in advance, Charlie, for this horrific non-wrestling topic. It's terrible.
May want to go away for about half an hour.
It's not good.
It gets worse.
Danny at Scottish Juggalo on Twitter. Dave Meltzer Mike Enos, the boogeyman.
I've lost it. Oh, there we go. Mark Enos. I can't remember who he is, so I would snog
He's
him.
one of the Beverly Brothers.
Oh yeah, I mean, them Beverly Brothers were pretty tasty looking. Is the one with the bit of a pedo mustache, isn't it? I don't know why I said that quietly.
No, I don't know why you're whispering that.
I would snog him because I am not snogging Meltzer or the boogeyman.
Okay.
I would probably marry the boogeyman and absolutely kill Dave Meltzer.
Yeah, I suppose. It'd be a toss-up for me. I'd snog Enos, and then I would suppose. I mean, I wouldn't want to marry the boogeyman because he'd just serve you worms for dinner every night.
And smash you in the face with a clock.
Yeah, I ain't about that. I'd probably marry Meltzer, to be fair.
Yeah, but have you seen how he lives? His room is horrific. That I would kill him for that. So Meltzer's got to be.
Yeah, think of the upset when you just scoop all those bits of paper up and set fire to them. Though. Think how devastated his little face would be.
I mean, that would be fun. To be fair, yeah. You've got a point.
This one's interesting. Stepping away from the world of wrestling. Connor Knows Soccer at Connor Knows Footy on Twitter. He says, Morty, Fitch, or Dan Griffin?
I mean, you've got to snog Dan. Cuddly Dan. Getting your arms around that beefcake. Absolutely. Marry Morty and kill Fitch because he's annoying. I mean, but then he would wash my car.
Yeah, you got to look at the
what does Morty bring to the table?
I think Morty would be a fantastic husband. I think if you lived with Morty, it'd be awesome because the guy can cook, and well, that's it for me, really.
The guy can cook, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with my choice. So Fitch has got to go. But I think it's the consensus that Dan's the kisser, though.
Oh yeah. I'd be all up in that Griffin grill. I'll tell you that now.
You'd be balls deep in that.
And Fitch, just by process of elimination. Nothing wrong with you, dude. Love you to bits, but
there's a lot wrong with him. I love him, but there is a lot wrong with him.
Yeah, fair point. Oh my god, it doesn't get any easier. At Good Bad Wrestle on Twitter, and we have a picture of the cast.
This one is amazing.
We have Bungle, Zippy, and George from Rainbow. I would kill. Oh, do you know what? I don't know. Because in my head, my first thought is I would kill George. So I find him so annoying. But I couldn't live with that Zippy bastard.
That's wrong. So George would be the kisser because it just looks cute.
Okay.
You would marry Bungle because he's the big. He could cuddle you and he could do all the housework.
That's what I was thinking. He's the one who goes around doing the housework.
Absolutely. Punch the living shit out of Zippy's face until you can feel his zippy bones crack, and he'd be absolute brown bread. Then you zip his mouth shut. So that's who I'd go with.
You also got to think of the alternative as well. If you end up snogging Zippy, you're gonna cut your mouth, ain't you? Because his mouth is literally a zip.
Yeah, exactly. The only issue then is you're gonna end up with Rod, Jane, and Freddie's hands up your ass, aren't you?
I don't think it was Rod, Jane, and Freddie that were the puppeteers.
Oh, how do you know, though?
One of them's dead.
Would you take that risk? Well, Rod or Jane?
Or Freddie?
Freddie, yeah.
No, I think Jane is still alive. But one of the fellas, I think, has died. Because she was with both of them, weren't she, at one point? She was with one and then left the other to shack it with the other.
Fuck off.
No, seriously.
That can't be true.
I think that's right.
Jane putting it about. I don't believe that.
I don't know which way round it was, whether she was with Rod first and then went off with Freddie or vice versa. But I'm 99% certain that.
I bet there was some tension there.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
How professional were they to just crack on with that performance?
Yeah. Amazing.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I could be completely wrong and just made that up. I'm fairly certain I haven't.
You probably have made it up.
We come next to the Steve-O section of the show.
And Steve-O went ham. I thought he only dropped this one, and then I clicked on it, and it turns out he's done about 30.
Yes, indeed. Seeing as you both have watched The Office UK, and I can already hear Si say, "Is she the one?" It's going to happen. The options are Jenny, Dawn, Rachel. Now, Dawn's the receptionist, isn't she?
Dawn is the receptionist. Jenna is David Brent's boss.
Right. Okay.
And Rachel is Tim's love interest in the second season.
Oh, I'd bump her right off. I'd
She
kill her.
she moved from the Swindon branch. She is annoying. So yeah, that's. But then Jenny was also a bit of a knobhead, weren't she?
Yeah, I'd see. This is tricky because out of the two that are left, because obviously we've already killed off Rachel. Out of the two that are left,
we haven't. You, that's a you thing.
Okay. All right, fine. I really like Dawn. I'd like to marry Dawn and potentially kiss Dawn, but I can't do both. So I'll say Snog.
If you're playing the adult version of this game, kiss is the same as other things.
Yes, Max. I would marry Dawn then. There we go.
Okay. I'd kiss Dawn, marry Rachel, and kill Jenny.
Who did I kill? I killed Rachel, didn't I? She's the one that she's the annoying one. Was she the annoying one?
No, she wasn't. No, you're thinking about the pregnant one.
Okay.
No, it was definitely not her. It was she had blonde hair. She was from the Swindon branch.
Right. Yes. Okay.
And Tim went on a couple of dates with her, but then he bagged her off because he thought he had a chance with Dawn, and then Dawn bagged him off again.
Yes. Yeah. There you go. Steve-O continues. Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Carl Pilkington.
Kill Carl, because I think he's just a fucking idiot. Marry Stephen Merchant and snog Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, I'd go along with that. Ricky Gervais would be all right if you like just go out for a few points, but to live with, I imagine he'd be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I think he would be very up his own ass as well.
Yeah, but Steve Merchant always comes across as a Satan fella, doesn't he? So I think he'd make a nice husband.
Exceptionally tall, so he could reach for things off the top shelf. Yeah, it'd be ideal for that.
There we go. And that is obviously a really important criteria when you're looking for a spouse. Barry from EastEnders, Keith Chegwin, Les Dennis. I don't even know anymore.
So Keith Chegwin, I've seen his old chap. So yeah.
What?
Oh, so there's a TV program called The Naked Jungle, and Keith Chegwin was naked in that show. So
okay.
So I definitely wouldn't want to snog or anything else with Keith Chegwin.
I'm glad, of course, that you put context to that, because otherwise, if I hadn't said what you're on about, effectively on this live show and the podcast that comes out later in the week, you would have just stated, "I've seen Keith Chegwin's knob," and then we'd have just moved on,
and there'd
been no context to it whatsoever.
Well, good job. Yeah, you made me explain it then. But yeah, look that show up. I think it's on YouTube. It's called The Naked Jungle.
I will not do that.
Link in the description. No. But I think I would kill, in this scenario, I'd kill Les Dennis. No, I wouldn't. I'd kill Chegwin, marry Les Dennis, and snog Big Bazza.
Yeah, I think I'd go with the same. Les Dennis, I imagine. Do you say you're going to marry Barry or marry Les?
I'd marry Les.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I imagine Les Dennis sat around the house having a couple of beers, watching a bit of telly, just chilling out, be a nice fella.
Yeah, and he was married to Amanda Holden as well, so she might nip round and we have a extramarital affair behind Les's back.
Okay, you've obviously given this much more thought than I. Oh, dear me. Kat Deely, Fern Cotton, Holly Willoughby.
Okay. That's a hard pick. I think I would kiss Kat Deely, marry Holly Willoughby, and I would kill Fern Cotton.
Yeah, this is tricky. None of these jump out at me as being somebody that I'd particularly want to kill.
Fern Cotton, I think I couldn't handle a cork habit.
Oh, okay.
With them nostrils. Couldn't afford it.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'd probably be the same. I'd snog Cat Deely. Are we talking Cat Deely from back in the day, or are we talking her now?
Yeah, Cat Deely from Anton Deck era.
Yeah,
Cat Deely.
Whatever happened to her? She's still doing TV.
I think she's a big star in America now.
Oh, okay. Fair play, right? Yeah, and you marry Holly Willoughby, wouldn't you? She's lovely.
Yeah. Well, although she is friends with Philip Schofield, who's probably going to be outed as a nonce very soon. So a judgment is not the best.
Yeah, but we just won't let him round.
She's our Holly Willoughby now.
Holly will be like, "Si, can Phil come round for a cup of tea?" No, Holly, no chance. We've spoken about this. Ant Deck still Stephen Mulhern. Now this is easy. Stephen Mulhern is the guy from Catchphrase now, isn't it? The one that I hate.
Well, from the new Catchphrase. Is every old RTV game show? He's now the face of the new version, and he's a twat. He's a twat. Dude. Yeah, I can't stand the wanker. So
obviously, whenever I say I would kill that person for legal reasons, I want to stipulate this is for the purpose of the game. I'm not making any threats. I said
he's not going to rock up outside Stephen Mulhern's door.
Yeah, I said that quite assertively, didn't I, about Stephen Mulhern? Then I would kill him. No,
it's the easy choice though. Out of these three, he's the absolute easy choice. I think I would snog Deck because he's got a normal size forehead, and then I would marry Ant.
I don't really think it matters with Ant and Deck because aren't they pretty much the same person?
They literally live on the same street, so you're going to see them both every day, unfortunately.
Steve-O continues. Final one. Oh, this is good. This is good.
He's a liar. Steve-O is a liar. It's not his final one at all.
His final one, but this is his final one at that moment in time. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I mean, you've got to kiss Shawn Michaels. He's the looker out of the three.
Yeah. I'd marry Stone Cold, just thinking.
I don't know, though, because he doesn't mind like smacking the other half around, does he?
I just don't. I couldn't listen to Bret Hart whinging.
This is it. Oh, wrestling's changed. It was better in my day. Yeah,
it was all Shawn's fault.
Yeah. Goldberg, you are a dickhead.
Yeah,
I'd kill Bret Hart.
I think I'd have to, mate.
Yeah,
I think I'd have to.
And obviously, Dan in the chat has gone with marry Bret. Snog Stone Cold. Oh no! I mean, I love Stone Cold as much as the next guy, but he is not a handsome-looking chap.
Okay.
But I know why he wants to kill Shawn, because Shawn wrecked Bret's WWF career. But I'd kill Bret.
Bret screwed Bret. One more, Steve-O says. Kane, Undertaker, Paul Bearer. I think I'd probably have to, out of those three, kill Kane because of his political beliefs and the fact that he's a bit of an odd job now, isn't he? I'd snog Paul Bearer and I'd marry the Undertaker because think of all that money.
Okay, I think the same. Kane, not his dab ugly and his opinions are ugly as well. Taker, I'm not a big fan of his old school mindset about people playing video games rather than taking cocaine and carrying knives. But he will have lots of. You could spend a long dark night listening to someone to take his stories and be absolutely enthralled. And then Paul Bearer, he's been killed off so many times, it'd be another day at the office for him. So kill Paul Bearer off.
And he is actually dead now as well, isn't he?
Pretty dead, yeah.
Pretty dead, yeah. Steve-O continues, believe it or not.
Shock.
He says, sorry, pun intended, the in-betweeners. Si, Jay, Will. I would kill Jay because his bullshit would get on my nerves.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Yeah. It'd get annoying if he lived with a guy.
Look at that. For the first time ever, we did a double cough.
Did we? Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So, yeah, I think I would kill Sa because he's the most boring of the characters.
Oh, see, now the more I think about it, the more tricky this is because Will would get on my nerves with his all, yeah, you gotta be done like this, everything's gotta be done like that.
Yeah, but you could easily just bully him
Yeah, I suppose.
and get your way. Man, I suppose you could do it with any of them because they're all little dweebs, aren't they?
Yeah, fair enough.
I'd kill Sar, marry Jay, and kiss Will.
Okay. I'd probably kiss Sai, kill Jay, marry Will then.
Okay. Fair.
Okay. Again, from the In-Betweeners, Khali, Charlotte, Tara. Tara is the girl who threw up and then snogged Simon in that one episode.
Okay.
That makes me retch whenever I think about it, so I'd have to kill her.
Fucking grim. Which one was Charlotte?
Charlotte was played by Emily Atack.
No, was that not? Oh, so Charlotte's the one who Will lost his virginity to.
Well, supposedly.
When he put Imac on his
yes.
cock and balls, and it was like a child.
Yes.
Okay. And then Carly's a knobhead, don't she?
Yeah,
she's a twat with him, especially in the films. She's even worse.
I'd marry Charlotte, I think.
I think I'd kiss Charlotte, marry Tara, and kill Carly.
Oh, interesting. Sharon in the chat there, changing my mind here. Tara is Jenna Coleman's sister. I am marrying her.
Brilliant.
Hey, get your sister around. What's that? You're not around. You've got to go out. That's fine. Still send her over.
Can we get Jenna to babysit again today? I'll run her home, obviously.
Steve-O continues. Mr. Gilbert, Neil's dad, Mr. Kennedy, who was the nonce. Well, I'd kill the nonce, obviously.
Yeah, but Neil's dad, wasn't he the one who they called a nonce, and also they said he was gay when he wasn't gay?
Yeah,
is that one?
Yeah, Neil's dad is the one that they keep making jokes about being gay, yeah.
Yeah, the teacher, Mr. Kennedy, who feels people up, yeah, he's definitely got to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Gilbert's funny, and he also bullies the fuck out of Will, which is brilliant.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think I would marry him.
Yeah, I'd marry him as well.
Well, you could go on holiday to Magaluf with him, and you'd have a whale of a time. Neil's dad, although it would make me retch having to kiss him because of the bald head, obviously, I would kiss Neil's dad.
Is that the issue, is it? The fact that he's bald?
Well, yeah. I mean, I like my men like I like my women. Hairy.
Is this why you do this show with me?
It is. The only reason.
Brilliant. I'm the eye candy. Fucking hell, we're in a mess if that's the case. We have somebody here, Shrek5 at Shrek is all right on Twitter. Hello. They say, Maven, Booker T, Titus O'Neill. I would kill Titus O'Neill because I find him quite irritating.
Really? He's the nicest guy in the history of the world. The things he does for charity as an ambassador for WWE, you are
make
wrong.
Me feel bad now. Yeah, you make me feel bad now.
Booker T's the one to kill because he's a prick. He has, even though he puts on this facade on the WWE pay-per-views and commentary, he says horrible things about wrestling. He always has a shitty opinion. So I'd fuck him off. Maven, I think he's all right because he's gone on and he's done his time in WWF and he's gone on to do a proper job and he's seems happy with his lot in life. So I would marry Maven and I would kiss Titus O'Neill.
I don't know, because Titus O'Neill looks like he would by far be the sweatiest, and I ain't about
that. a sweaty kisser.
Yeah, maybe I'd. Okay, I'll probably snog Maven then. Kill Booker T, marry Titus O'Neill. Yeah, okay. Is Maven a teacher now?
No, I think he works in finance. James from formerly of that 90s Wrestling podcast had him on an interview, and he was the first person to interview him in like years. But I think he works in finance now.
Okay. Oh, it's Mohammed Hassan who's a teacher, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think he was a teacher beforehand, and then he was a teacher afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Morty, our good friend Morty from the Morty and Fitch podcast at MortyJR5 on Twitter. Rhea Ripley, Billy Kay, Jade Cargill.
Oh, Billy Kay, that's the
one.
Kyla. It's that one, isn't it?
I don't know what that was.
It's the louder one.
Yeah, she's one half of the was one half of the Iconics, wasn't she? Yeah.
Yeah. So who was the first one?
Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, I mean, Dom has got it good with Rhea Ripley. Let's just say that. So I would snog Rhea Ripley, marry Billy Kay, and kill Jade Cargill.
Yeah, see, I would probably snog Billy Kay and marry Jade Cargill.
She's got a big mouth, though.
But Jade Cargill's got, like, you know, a kid at home and is a working mum and all that. So
yeah, but she also looks like she will beat the living piss out of you.
Right, and Rhea Ripley doesn't.
I know, but you would enjoy it more from Rhea, I think.
Oh, let's move on. Oh my goodness. Cam, what's that in the chat there from Pig's Bladders? I've just made Sai a lovely Hitler You're the One t-shirt design. I am not. No. Oh no.
Send it to teespring.com.
Oh my goodness. Don't send it me, I'll have a look. Well, maybe no. Cam,
this has broken you. This segment has broken you.
Every passing question makes me just think of all the hard work I've put in for the last year into this network and how in this last 60 minutes it's been deteriorating away when we're inevitably going to be cancelled and so on. I suppose I'll have a lot more time on my hands to sit around and think about the evil that I've committed this Monday evening.
It's good job you're branching off into mental health because this has caused it.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Cam Griffin at Cam Griffin 92 on Twitter. Hugh Morris, Kevin Sullivan, the Leprechaun. I would snog Hugh Morris just to get it done and out of the way.
Okay.
I would kill the Leprechaun because it's the most ridiculous gimmick ever. And I would marry Kevin Sullivan because you listen to that guy talk about wrestling, he's a genius. And think of the conversations you could have.
I would happily go along with that. Kevin Sullivan, you would marry because he's, love him or hate him, he's done so much for the wrestling business. Hugh Morris, in the same veins with training people at the PC, he deserves his props, even though he is also a bit of a bully. So he'd get a kiss. And the Leprechaun, what use has he ever been in the world of wrestling? So fuck him.
Yeah, exactly. This one's really straightforward for me. Very easy. Kurt Angle, Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas. I'd marry Kurt Angle for the same reasons I'm talking about Kevin Sullivan. The other two are interchangeable. I don't really care.
No, Shelton Benjamin is more of a looker than Charlie Haas.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Maybe my standards in you know, mid 2000s tag team wrestlers and how attractive they are lower than yours. Then I don't know.
Perhaps. I would kiss Shelton Benjamin. I would marry Kurt Angle, and I would kill Charlie Haas.
Fair enough. This one is a bit trickier.
This is horrible. I hate this one.
Scotty Too Hotty, Grandmaster Sexay, and Rikishi.
Well, I
don't know. That's really hard.
Scotty seems like the most pure person in wrestling. I absolutely think he's amazing. So I would happily marry him. Grandmaster Sexy, whilst not having the best personal life, he was sexy, so he would get the old kiss. And Rikishi tried to kill Stone Cold Steve Austin, so fuck him. He can get killed off.
The only stumbling block I can see with not killing Grandmaster Sexay is when he does that stupid squeaky laugh. That would just wind me up.
And also the dance where he's shoveling things. I never got that.
No, fair enough. Ja at Yalmorright on Twitter. Ted Turner, 1989. Vince McMahon, 1982. And Tony Khan, 2019. Oh, and to make it fun, what would the consequences of the snog barrier kill or choices if happened over the years if they started running their promotions? Sorry, I've gone a bit wrestling and I'm on wrestling topic, but fun, eh? So these are three promoters who, Ted Turner in 89, McMahon in 82, Tony Khan in 2019, started up their or bought their wrestling promotions. Snog, marry, or kill.
Okay, so I would marry Ted Turner. Because even though he got into the wrestling business basically because he was being a douchebag to Vince, him getting into wrestling fundamentally changed it for the better.
Yes.
With WCW. I mean, it took a while, but it gave us the hottest period in wrestling that we've ever had, and it pushed WWF to make its product better. So I would definitely want him to stick around. And I think in a smaller way, I'd say the same for Tony Khan. He's him coming with AEW, even though it is a massive vanity project and a big old t-shirt company. He's the fact he's pushed Vince to make WWE better, and especially made NXT better. I think he would deserve a kiss. And Vince McMahon, well, he was just a wanker, weren't he? He just had to buy up everything because he's a greedy, selfish, my way or the highway motherfucker. And he's doing exactly the same thing now, 31 years later. So kill Vince McMahon. And what it would do with the years is, I think if we kill Vince McMahon, wrestling would be a lot more diverse. We'd hopefully still have the territories going. So wrestling wouldn't get as stale because you'd see champions move from territory to territory, and it'd be all it would be fresh. I think if Tony Khan wasn't around, or I think WWE would still be as stale as it was. I think they needed that competition to push him, and same with Ted Turner. I think he was the catalyst for Vince knowing that he had to change the way he booked his wrestling and the storylines and the characters that he created. So, yeah, that's who I go with.
I think I'm kind of similar, to be honest. I would, wrestling and personal reasons. Vince McMahon, 1982, he gambled his family's home and all the money he had on a pay-per-view event working.
Mm-hmm.
He had kids at home. That's reckless. Okay, it paid off, but that's reckless. If that was my husband, I would be pissed. Also, he's an asshole. Tony Khan, as exciting it would be to be around the AEW world, that would just be a snog for me. You know, I couldn't be bothered with the supposed coat habit and all the grief that would come with it and all that sort of stuff. So I'd marry Ted Turner. And again, in that scenario, you talk about the territory days, maybe, you know, because we've killed McMahon. Potentially still being a thing. I imagine Turner would have expanded, and Jim Crockett Promotions was trying as well in the territory days, couldn't quite get the money together. So there were people trying to do similar to McMahon. It wasn't just McMahon who expanded, but I think it would have been for a while a much happier place.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Ted Turner's buying up what was Jim Crockett Promotions. I love that shit. So
yeah. You do.
And that, Magsy, I believe, is all I have from Twitter.
Thank fuck.
Unless there's any I have missed.
I don't think so. And even if they were, I wouldn't bring them up.
No? Fair enough. Shall we dive on into the chat briefly, if we can do it briefly? Scan through, maybe just the highlights, Mags.
I will try. I will try my best. There is a lot in this chat. Jesus Christ. We'll start with this. Morty says, who in the F is asking kids in preschool if they'll snog, marry, kill? And points for what Dan Griffin and Five Nerds Go put forward. Pedos. That's pedophiles, Morty.
I said the wrong word. All right.
Is that what is meant by its fitting for the CWF? It feels like an attic. I think he's on about. Is he on about Emily? Oh, it feels like an attack. I spend too much time with Fitch.
Okay.
Andy from Bang Bang popped in the chat at probably the worst possible moment. And Morty says, like how Mags' man went straight into who would be easy to force the snog on. Yeah, absolutely. It's the way it goes. Tank Abbott's tongue has abs. That's hashtag Tank Fact.
Okay.
And Andy confirms that he's still in the bath, but he feels like he needs a shower after hearing about Tank Abbott's hairy tongue.
He's still in the bath? What, the milk bath or?
What's the website address? That's bathinmymilk.com.
Oh my God.
Bathe in fact, let me just.
No. Don't bring it up.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just definitely not sharing the link for bathinmymilk.com. Yeah, that's a real thing. And if you're interested in bathing in the milk, if you click that link, it goes to the woman's email address, allegedly.
Seriously, why do you do the things you do?
I apologize. Dan says the white guy is Eminem if he took up pie eating instead of rap. Jesus Christ, Dan. Five Nerds Go says he regrets nothing. He was the person who introduced me to these pictures. Then Bang Bang says, yes, Max, finally, someone says what we're all thinking. I mean, I'm just have no filter. It just comes out of my mouth. So if that's what happens, that's what happens. Dan Griffin says he wants to marry the goal that Trent Alexander-Arnold has just scored because it was gorgeous. Mort says Paul Potts wasn't he in big BTG? No, different Paul Pot, I think. Yeah. Kim Jong-un has John Cena's current hairstyle, and also we have to marry Mabel because Mabel apparently is a cuddler, and then Scottish Danny is angry at us. 2 murders for Mabel. What is this? He's the world's largest love machine. Exactly.
What a scary thought.
In the Barry pick, Dan says he would snog Barry, marry Barry, kill Barry.
Okay, I'm glad we cleared that.
How did Barry Chuckle not get brought up in that? How did
He's
we go
the dead
with...
one, isn't he?
Jesus.
We said this last week, didn't we? So what's the other guy's name?
Barry. Oh, Paul Chuckle.
Yeah, they weren't both called Barry Chuckle.
You Barry, and me, Barry. Cliff Richard apparently is a tennis nonce. And Mortar, he was a pedo, but he could dance. Good God. Max has a thing for bowl cut hair. Dan says he would kill Hitler, snog Pol Pot, marry Kim Jong-un. At least marrying Kim Jong-un, I get to drive a gold plate to Mercedes. See, there's always a reason to marry an evil human being, isn't there?
Apparently so.
Andy from Bang Bang says Hitler was a looker. Personality let him down big time. Jesus. And also, he was a great artist. Dan Griffin, Hitler, you're the one. You still turn sad. Jesus wept. Mags is worried about saying pedo when Sire's just 5 minutes on marrying Hitler.
Oh my goodness.
Dan is happy that we would be kissing partners because obviously he's a cuddly hunk of beef. You would have to kill Fitch. Yeah, that was a standard. Fitch was always going to go in that one. And Dan gives lovely hugs and kisses, allegedly. And Sarah was all up in that Griffin grill in York when Shaw wasn't looking.
Hey, sometimes she was. She loves it.
I'm not kissing Zippy with that mouth from Andy from Bang Bang. Imagine putting your old chap in that mouth.
Oh, dear.
And someone's a Bristol lad. I don't know. Was he on about Keith Chegwin? He's not a Bristol lad, is he? Is he from Bristol?
I don't know.
Mags has seen the Cheggers Chungus. Yep. Go and watch The Naked Jungle. Links in the description to see.
Or don't.
He's not got a big penis. Let's just put it like that. Cheggers does not play much pop with that bad boy.
There you go. That's what the breaking news on Chain Wrestling Live. You come here for that. The insights into the entertainment world, like that one.
Dan says, marry Brett, snog Stone Cold, kill Sean, and he goes absolutely mental on us, calling us heathens for wanting to kill Brett. And he also tries to sway us away from killing Kane by saying that Taker is also a Trump supporter. And then he says, always kill Carla, which is absolutely fine. Sharon takes you to task saying you would kill Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
He would try.
I wouldn't succeed.
Sar's next breakdown, sponsored by the CDRF. No, not sponsored. Caused by the CDRF. Dan Griffin has thrown in a late one for us. Peter Sutcliffe, Jeffrey Dahmer, John Wayne Gacy. Now, John Wayne Gacy is the guy who dressed as a clown, I think, but he ended up being a serial killer.
Killing lots of kids. I don't want to play this game anymore.
Well, final one, and we'll leave it. Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper.
Well,
and Jeffrey Dahmer. Didn't Jeffrey Dahmer eat people?
Yeah, he was the one who. Yeah, so I
kill them all. Kill them all.
Yeah. I don't want to do this anymore.
Sharon says she effing loves that AEW t-shirt company. You know what? I like AEW. I don't like how they've been treating the wrestlers recently, especially with how Leva Bates. I mean, I was very close to putting Tony Khan as a pimple dick today. Leva Bates, who people might know as Blue Pants in NXT, and the Librarian. She found out she was let go, or a contract wasn't being renewed, when people were ringing her and texting her and wishing her the best. And then she rung Tony and found out that she hadn't been offered a new contract, which I think is a bit shitter.
That is terrible.
Not because of, I mean, the character of the Librarian I didn't get on with at all.
No.
But she did a lot backstage. She was quite an integral part of the team backstage, and to be just not even told that you weren't even getting renewed I thought that was a bit shitter. And then Sharon says she'd marry Tony Khan so he could help, so she could help with the talent. Jesus Christ.
Adam Cole and Hangman Page are very firmly in mind when she makes that statement, I think.
Oh, what a rough hour and 15 minutes that has been.
Speaking of t-shirt company and so on, I have been sent the image by King's Big Splatters, and I want to just say, first of all, as always, I admire your expertise, your talent, but that t-shirt's never seen the light of day. Ever.
You're going to have to show it me. I need to see this image.
It's bad. Oh, yeah, my wife. Don't forget Jay White as well. Yes, very true. Very true. I've normally at this time in the show, I would say thank you to everyone who tweeted in and got involved in the chat. But I think if I said that now, it would be quite,
disingenuous.
Yeah, it would be very honest. That was. I imagine for everyone watching, it was great entertainment watching me squirm and panic. But yeah, there we go. Thank you so much to everyone who joins us. This will be the last episode of Chain Wrestling Live. From now on, we're going to be broadcasting on a 20-minute delay so I can edit shit as we go along.
So basically, in the corner is now the live show of SJP Media. We will be going to a highly edited version.
Exactly. Oh my God, the audio version this week is going to be about 15 minutes long. It's going to be cut to shit.
Brilliant.
Magsy, I suppose we better talk a bit of wrestling now.
Yay, finally. The best part of the show.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Magsy won the poll. We watched 3 wrestling matches. They're all fucking shite. I'll see you next week.
No, we've got to put a poll up for next week.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay.
Shall we just skim through these matches?
Let's start going date order, shall we?
People what they want, chronological order.
There's people here that just want to talk or hear about the Great Khali. I can't understand why. I thought, Magsy, that we should rate each one individually, and then I suppose an average across the 3 would be the best way to do it. Maybe
that seems fine.
Yeah. Okay. We start with SummerSlam 2007. It's a world title match. Again, I can't believe that this happened. Great Khali is the world champion. He is facing Dave Bautista, a guy who in himself, as great a character as Dave Bautista was, and as great a power as he was, not somebody you'd imagine could carry a Khali to a good match, Magsy.
No, and that's why this match was in the middle of the card, and it was incredibly short for a world title match.
It was indeed. The promo video building up to this match, yes, there was one. It was basically the whole thing is based around Khali's vice grip, which alternates, it seems, between a claw kind of move that the Von Erichs use,
And just a
or him
squeeze.
using both his hands. Yeah, it kind of alternates depending on what bit of footage they're using. But effectively, it's Khali using his massive mitts to squish his opponent's head like a grape.
And
I
pop
think
their
personally,
eyeballs out.
yeah, I think personally it's a pretty shit hold. But there we go. We'll get into that in a moment. What are you laughing at?
I mean, every hold he did. I can't believe you singling out the vice grip when every move he did was pretty shitty.
I know. Out of the 3 matches, I've got one move that I'm going to sing the praises of.
Okay.
So we'll get to that shortly. When I say sing the praises of, it's better by comparison to the rest of his shite. It's not great, but there we go. The match begins with Khali using lots of elbows, punches, knees, and clotheslines, whilst struggling to even walk, never mind do anything else.
Yeah.
It's a bit uncomfortable, Mags, wasn't it?
And this was the first of 3 years of SummerSlams, and he was very much immobile. It was essentially Giant Gonzalez levels of mobile.
Yeah, he was. I mean, it showed with the way he was trying to cover Batista quite often. He'd put his foot on him in the way that Lex Luger used to when he'd knock people out with that forearm or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that was just because he couldn't get down and back up again.
Well, I think it goes down to pin Batista once in this match, and he has to go down to one knee, then 2 knees, and then back up to 1 knee. So yeah, the guy is not. He looks physically impressive. I mean, he's quite muscular. He's got a muscly upper body, but yeah, his knees are shot from carrying his massive, just size around. Yeah, it's just
weight. Yeah. They say he's like 420 pounds. I reckon 300 of that is from the waist up.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a lot of and there's a lot of rubbish selling going on by both, I suppose.
Yeah,
in the
I
match.
mean, like you said, Dave was not a ring general at this time, so to have him have to carry Khali, you were never going to get a good match out of it, and the fans started chanting "boring" pretty early into this match.
Yeah, I mean that is something that is a reoccurring theme in these 3 contests as well.
Pretty much, yeah, in all of them.
The crowd just don't give a shit. They just don't care.
And yet he was a multiple-time world champion. Go figure.
Yeah. He also has this big chop that he uses. And that's one thing I suppose that the other guys in the ring with him do well. They really portray this chop. They sell this chop as being, devastating. And it gets Khali out of trouble sometimes, I think. When they're beating up on Khali and he's struggling to sell, he can just throw that hand and then they bump for him. So it does kind of make sense, I suppose, for putting a match together with a guy who can't really move, Mags, I suppose.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we've spoke before about John Cena having the 5 moves of doom. Khali doesn't even have 5 moves. He has literally a punch, a forearm, a chop, and a kick. It's you could watch all of these matches in different orders, and Khali does the same thing in every single match.
Yeah, indeed. We get a line of commentary here from JBL who says, if you look at Khali, it does look slow. No shit.
Jesus, can you imagine if Khali was agile like, say, the Big Show? He would have been a killer.
Kick. Yeah.
Yeah.
We then get Khali applying a nerve hold, which makes me think back to the Samoans and then Yokozuna using a nerve hold on Luger for what seemed like 25 minutes in matches in 93. I hate the nerve hold pretty much as I hate the bear hug. I think that's shit. It's crap.
It's a rest hold. It's a move you use when you need to get your breath to go over the next part of the match with your opponent. But Khali uses them as actual moves because you halfway into a 6-minute match. If you're needing to use rest holds already, you are a shit wrestler.
My biggest issue with these nerve holds, because they're grabbing, what's that called? The lat, isn't it? Is that right? The sort of muscle from your neck to your shoulder.
Yeah, kind of around the collarbone.
Yes. So you get a rest, the nerve hold holding there, And then obviously Khali's vice hold, or the one where he effectively does the old Von Erich claw on the head.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just singling out Khali here. I'm talking the Von Erichs. I'm talking everybody. My issue is you're grabbing your opponent in one part of his body. He still has both his arms, both his legs to get out of that hold. It's bullshit.
Yeah, I totally get that mindset. I've never been a massive fan of wrestlers. I don't particularly agree with you with the bearing. I think that can be useful in some instances, but yeah, nerve holds like this have never been something I've been a massive fan of. It makes a slow match even slower.
Yeah, definitely. The vice grip is attempted by Khali, but Batista powers out of it and hits a spine buster, which looked as good as it could, I think.
I think for someone the size of Khali, who's not exactly the most mobile, not exactly the most giving wrestler, I thought that was pretty impressive of Batista, because there's no way Khali is helping you to pull that move off.
Yeah.
So you're doing that through your own strength. So yeah, I thought that was pretty impressive.
Yeah. Batista then climbs to the top rope, which is unusual territory for him anyway.
Where the fuck was he going?
Yeah, what was that all about? And he comes off the top rope and it's countered into a kind of choke, slam, stroke, Khali bomb, they called it, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, almost. It was kind of like a double choke bomb. There's a bit like this. Is it the Scar Hard that D'Lo Brown used to do? Basically, sit down power bomb.
And Albert as well used to do it, didn't he? Grab him by the throat. Yeah, okay. And then for some reason, a chair gets involved. Khali uses it and gets disqualified, and that's the end of the match.
Yeah, this made absolutely no sense. I mean, Khali was on the front foot. All he essentially had to do. I mean, I know Dave kicks out of the 2 count after the choke slam bomb, but all Khali needed to do was apply the vice grip, and this was the match over. But yeah, the chair gets brought in. I don't know why.
It was crap. Let's be honest. I think, believe it or not, we have actually seen worse, because Batista did his best. He worked with Batista's limited in himself, and he was working with someone more limited than he was. Mm-hmm. So I think Batista did the best he could. I think we have seen worse, but not bloody much. Magsy, out of 10?
It's a 1. It was one of the worst.
Yeah, I've got 1 as well, mate. I've got 1 as well. Moving on 12 months, we have the ring general of the trio.
Now, how better can Khali get in those 12 months? Yes. Let's go for it.
And we have Triple H, I imagine, backstage going, Batista's match sucked. Batista's match sucked. Give me Khali. I'll get a good match out of him. And he struts out there with his big nose Motorhead playing, the bell rings, and he realizes, oh shit, no, I can't. We have a pedigree attempt very early on, which is countered, and then the vice grip is applied very early on as well. So lots of excitement and peril there.
I mean, again, they had a video package for this match, and we saw something that Triple H had so many times throughout his career in the build-up to big matches. He had an arm wrestling match against Khali. Which I don't know why that guy has such a fascination with doing arm wrestling matches. But yeah, the build up was probably better than this match.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as the arm wrestling match with Scott Steiner, though, was it?
No, the pause off with Scott Steiner.
That was all Scott Steiner did in that incarnation. That was good. His debut and those competitions.
I mean, he did have drop foot, to be quite fair.
Oh, yeah.
And he also had a pink thong on as well. Let's not forget that.
And of course, it's the color of the thong that hinders the competitor. We at least with this vice grip, it makes sense how Triple H gets out of it, because he starts kicking Khali's knees.
Yeah.
And it sounds like I'm saying Khali now from the In-Betweeners, but I'm not. I'm referring to the Great Khali.
The Great Khali.
Yes, not Pukey Khali.
And this is, I suppose, is where Triple H as ring general skills come in and make it a better match than the Batista one.
Yeah, that's a fair shot. Triple H uses one of his many 3 limbs from this crappy hold that Khali's applying to kick the knees of Khali to escape. But his attempts at building an offense is cut short by that big almighty chop by the great Khali. Khali is then
get out of jail free card.
Yes, there we go. Khali is then in control for a while, so we see lots of punches, kicks, elbows, clotheslines, and so on.
Oh,
we then get
plethora of wrestling maneuvers that Khali knows.
Yes, we get a "You can't wrestle" chant, which, as amusing as it ironic. I always do feel a bit sorry for the people in the ring when that pops up, but they are kind of right.
And how does Khali repay those fans that start chanting "You can't wrestle"? He gets a vice grip.
Yes,
it's ridiculous, and a nerve hold. Yeah.
Yes. Khali then, this bit was okay. This bit was all right. Out of these 3 matches spanning 3 years, this 5 seconds was all right. Khali body slammed Triple H and then hit him with a leg drop. And the leg drop looked pretty good.
It was good, yeah.
Triple H goes back to the knee. Khali gets tied up in the ropes at one stage. I'm not sure if that was meant to happen because of the panic in Khali when he was trying to get the referee to get him out.
No, I think it was because they have the spot where Triple H tries to take advantage and he gets booted in the face.
Yes, that's right. Eventually, Triple H attempts a pedigree
again,
and yes, and this was part of the selling point for the match, I believe, Maxie, that with the commentators talking about that Khali's too big to get the pedigree on, which I suppose at least they're trying to tell us a story, which is better than what we got previously, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And the good thing with Triple H is he's good at telling that story. Tries the pedigree very early in the match, tries it again towards the end, and is still not able to pull it off until obviously we get to the finish, where he eventually is able to get the pedigree, but it looks like Khali is nervous about taking the pedigree because he does not want to give Triple H that second arm. It's firmly planted on the ring floor, and Triple H has to force it up and obviously to lock his arms and then drop Khali for the pedigree. So yeah, Khali was not confident in taking that move at all.
No, I think you're spot on. We do get the original pedigree attempt, though, is countered into a backdrop to the outside, which was quite a big bump for Triple H to take.
It was. Yeah.
Triple H smashes Khali's knee into the ring post, which again, working on the legs of your bigger opponent, it does make sense. They're trying to tell us a story, so that should be, looked upon favorably, I suppose. But then that big chop comes into play, and then it's a vice hold, and then there's the escape from the vice hold into the pedigree, and then it just ends abruptly like that. So I think better than the Batista effort, but not much better. Yeah.
It was better because it was Triple H.
Yeah, I've got a 2 for this one, Magsy. So better, 2. But not much better.
Yep, same 2.
Yeah. Okay. 12 months down the line, we have had, first of all, I suppose, quite important to the story going into this match at SummerSlam 2009. Khali has turned face. Is he the Punjab playboy at this point?
The Punjabi playboy. Yeah, all the women love him. I think he's kissed the ring announcer. What is her name? I forgot. Lillian Garcia. He's kissed her. It's in the period where they're shooting T-shirts into the crowd and things like that. Yeah, so Khali's a massive, massive face. A shit wrestler still, but a massive face.
He has got a massive face.
A chin. Jesus Christ, that's a chin. You could hang your shirts on that chin.
You could. And Singh, I can't remember the guy's first name, I'm afraid, but this is his translator in the first 2 matches.
Well, so in the first 2 matches, he's the translator, but in this one, he's transitioned into being his younger brother.
Yes, that's right. So. He's his translator in the first 2 matches for cutting the heel progros. Yeah, that's it.
Singh,
yeah, and now all of a sudden they're related, which has never been mentioned in the previous couple of years. So that was. I think
he was played by one of the creative team as well for SmackDown. Is it Dave Kapoor?
Okay. I suppose it's the same as Edge and Christian, who were best friends, then cousins, then brothers, and then best friends.
Yeah, And he also had 3 different hairstyles at 3 different SummerSlams.
Yeah, fair play to him. Oh, Khali, he's changed his gear. He's got a different colour on now.
Red pants.
Yeah,
Sexy.
there we go. He's making the effort with this babyface push he's getting. And Singh has been attacked by Kane on numerous episodes of SmackDown, which leads to this match. Straight away, we hear he's got new music because he's a babyface. So everyone's dancing away and happy to hear that. And it's probably the best part of his gimmick. And rather than a "you can't wrestle" chant, we have a sign before the bells even rang being held up saying "you can't wrestle" as Khali makes his entrance.
Why waste your voice when WWE are not going to listen? You're still going to get ring time. So say it with the sign, at least that's going to get on TV.
Exactly. People in the CWF, shout out as quick as you can. What do you think this match begins with? 3, 2, 1. That's right. Punches and kicks.
I like how you gave them time then, because they didn't really need it.
Nah, not really. Yeah, punches and kicks from both. It already looks clunky and awkward and just a mess. But then we get to this weird Irish whip spot. Now, an Irish whip.
Oh, yeah, it was grim.
The Irish whip is, in theory, I'm not a wrestler. I don't know. But in theory, if somebody's trying to send you to the ropes, you just kind of go.
Yeah.
But neither guy knows what to do.
Khali doesn't go to the rope, so Kane follows him in, attempts a kick in the gut, which makes absolutely no contact. It was botch heavy, this match. This may be the worst of the matches. Yes. And it's the one 2 years after the first one. So he should have improved in those 2 years. Kane could not polish this turd.
No, indeed. Interestingly enough, my wife in the chat there, when I said, what did this match begin with? She said, the bell. Brilliant. Well done, Sha.
Superstar.
She's not wrong.
No.
Khali misses the leg drop, though, Magsy. Disaster has struck at SummerSlam 2009. His one good move.
But luckily, he's able to land the chop.
Yes, he does. Gets him out of jail again. Eventually, Kane takes control and hits a series of elbow drops. Both then tease choke slams or the Khali bomb, as they call it, but both counter out of it. Khali uses that massive chop again in the corner to send Kane flying, but it's still not brilliant. Kane then decides to copy Batista from the first match. He has the idea to come off the top rope. He jumps down and actually lands the clothesline that Kane uses, the top rope clothesline. And Khali goes down in slow motion. It's really, really bad.
Kane hits the floor a good second before Khali hits the floor.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
No.
And then because obviously we've done something that could maybe be argued in some circles as exciting. I mean, not by me, but maybe by other people. We need to go to a chin lock, which lasts a long time, just to calm everyone down. We don't want people getting overexcited, Max, do we? I
mean, this match, to be fair, has been at a quicker pace than the other two. Not by much.
No. No. Okay. There's a long chin lock, as I said, by Kane. Eventually, Khali hits the chop again to get him out of trouble. And then it looks like he's going to attempt to cover Kane whilst Kane's led on his front. And Kane has to turn himself over.
Yep. Botch heavy.
Bad.
It's so bad.
The voice hold comes out, which, cheers everybody up, I suppose. Kane then grabs Singh from the outside whilst he's in the voice hold, causing Khali to let go. And this bit was okay. Kane hits a drop kick to the knee of Khali, sending him down, and then quite a vicious-looking DDT for the win. The finish in itself...
Hanged on that DDT as well. That was pretty good.
Yeah, the finish in itself was okay.
Finishing on the DDT, though, for Kane.
Well, DDT should be a finish.
No, I agree, but in the modern era of wrestling, it's not. It's a transition move. So I wonder if that was Kane calling audible, thinking, I'm getting out of this shit.
Yeah, this is terrible. I've had enough and no more of this.
I'm not trying to choke slam this pillock. DDT, stay down, 1, 2, 3, and we're out of here.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm scared to ask. Out of 10, Magsy, 1. I've actually got 0.5 for this one. I thought this was the worst of the lot by a mile.
It probably was the worst, but only by a little bit, I suppose. I mean, there was no good match here. This was a bad pick by the CWF. You really shit on us. But the good thing is there was less than 25 minutes of wrestling in it. So thankfully, that's over and done with.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. I mean, ultimately, Khali's doing his best. He's been hired by McMahon because of the size of the guy. He can barely move because of his weak knees. He's been put in a scenario here that I don't think is good for him. As a comedy performer, the Punjabi playboy, you can get something out of him. But world title matches against guys like Batista, who I think need somebody else with them to uplift one end of the match at least.
Mm-hmm.
Kane does what Kane does, and it's not suited to Khali, I guess, as well. I don't think he's
but
been
then
put
again,
in a fair scenario, has he?
Kane he was a ring general. He could have led a better match than that. And Khali had 2 extra years of experience and 2 years of experience at the top of the card.
Yeah,
so that match should have been better than it was.
Yeah.
But all 3 matches were terrible. What can we say?
Yes. So we have a 0.5, a 1, and a 2. So what's the average of that? 1.
1.
1 and a quarter, but we don't deal with quarters, so we'll call it a 1.
A 1. A 1 for me. All the way across, yeah. Khali, you suck as a wrestler.
There we go. There we go. Decent entrance music, though. Does make me sort of bob about a bit.
Are you into your Bangra?
Not really. Huh? I liked the one that was mixed with the Knight Rider theme. That was quite good. But that's just because I like the Knight Rider theme.
Monday Tobacco.
What?
That's what it's called. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I just called it the Knight Rider theme.
Punjabi MC, I think, is.
That's it. Yes. Yeah. There we go. That's the most excited I've felt in ages. Those 3 wrestling matches didn't get that reaction from me.
But listening to Punjabi MC, that excited you.
I'm going to put that on when I finish here. Bagsy, shall we scan through the chat now, or shall we go to our links? What do you want to do?
No, let's go through the chat.
Okay.
Welcome to Sar's own personal hell. Jesus wept. Not just Sar's, everybody's personal hell. Cam Griffin joined the chat late. You have missed a belter, sir. And he says, I've just been reading back through the chat. Bet it's been a roller coaster. Mate, you wouldn't even believe we broke Sar. Well, no, not we. You lot broke Sar.
It was fucking horrific.
Yeah, it was. We cut Mags versus Sar for that bollocks. Just remember that.
You'll be able to check it out on the audio version later in the week, Cam.
No, it won't be the same because it will be like the WWE Network, heavily edited.
I'm probably not going to edit shit, mate. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to listen to it. I'm just going to put the music at the beginning and upload it. I don't want to hear it back.
Benny Mac says the only person with a successful nerve hold is Spock in Star Trek.
Brilliant.
King's Pigs Banner says he thinks he enjoyed this more than Magnus Sar, meaning the hell of the last hour and 43 minutes that this show's put us through. And 5 seconds into a 14-year career is more than he expected.
Good leg drop.
Dan Griffin, punchy, kicking, nervy holder. Brilliant. And the perfect way to not describe a Khali match, pure dynamism and quality throughout those matches. No.
Not a good look. Not a good look. And he held the big gold belt, man. That's flair.
Arms.
You know, Barry Windham held that. Shawn Michaels held that.
Barry Windham, of all the people you could have named who held the big gold, you went with Flair. Absolutely fine. Not Sting, not Luger, not Hogan. You went with Barry fucking Windham.
Yeah. Windham was better in the ring than Luger. I would argue peak Barry Windham was better in the ring than Sting. And Barry Windham was definitely better than Hogan.
but nobody remembers Barry Windham bar you.
Have I not suffered enough this week? Why are you this way?
Why do you keep doing this to me?
Magsy, where to next week, my friend?
Oh, so I was very tempted to keep on an Indian theme, and I was actually going to go with Payback 2017 when the world saw Jinder Mahal step into Big Khali's shoes and become world champion.
The Canadian Jinder Mahal, you mean, yeah?
The Canadian Jinder Mahal, yes. But I had a change of heart because King's Pigs Bladder has done monumental work this week with our double wedding picture and the graphics for the show recently.
Yes.
He's an absolute star, and he's been hankering for us to shine a spotlight on a certain wrestler for quite a while, and we've been avoiding it, kind of like the plague. So I think it's time to give a certain Barry Horowitz his flowers. And this is the perfect time because the best part of Barry Horowitz's WWF career came at a SummerSlam. SummerSlam 1995, he got his solo WWF pay-per-view victory when he beat Skip of the Body Donners. So I want to put forward that we watch Barry Horowitz versus Skip, not only from SummerSlam though, but a couple of weeks before on an episode of WWF Superstars, he faces Barry Horowitz. He faces Skip in a 10-minute challenge, and it lasts the whole 10 minutes. So I want to watch the episode of Superstars. It was recorded on the 25th of July, 1995, but I think it aired on the 12th of August of 1995. So that episode of WWF Superstars, Barry Horowitz versus Skip, and then the SummerSlam, which happened a couple of weeks later, Barry Horowitz versus Skip there as well.
Do you know what's really interesting? You mentioned Barry Horowitz. For a start, yes, great shout. Doesn't matter what I put up now, that's going to win because that's the nature of the show, and rightfully so.
That's why I fucking did it.
And rightfully so, it should win because Barry Horowitz, Pigs Bladders, has been plumping for this for a while, and he's done a great deal for us for the show and so on. So rightfully so. But I was watching a random episode of Thunder, WCW Thunder last night. And I fell asleep and I woke up just as Barry Horowitz was making his entrance on Thunder.
And you were like, ah!
I was like, what's going on? There we go. So that's going to be winning the poll this week. So it doesn't really matter what I put up next. My option, I may change now because I'll go with what I was going to go with anyway. But it will come back up on the poll because I really think this is a match that we should break down and talk about at length. Following the Kane Khali match at SummerSlam 2009, D-Generation X got back together and faced the tag team of Legacy, which is Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase Jr. I want to take Shawn Michaels from the DX team, go to a Shawn Michaels match. I'd like to go to the main event of WrestleMania 12 and go back and watch the Iron Man contest between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. Some people say that this match is fantastic. Other people say it's boring as hell. I've not watched it in a long, long time. And again, some people say it's a clinic. Some people say it's just dull. Be really interesting to go and break that down. But I'm more than happy to do that on another episode of Chain Wrestling in the future. Me and Magsy can do a deep dive into that Iron Man contest, break it down, go through it all, and the politics behind the scenes and so on. That is the option I will put forward. So the WrestleMania 12 Iron Man match, main event, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels for the WWF Championship. But Max's option is effectively Barry Horowitz appreciation night.
Well, Barry Horowitz versus Skip 1 and 2.
Skip 1 and 2.
Well, no,
so there we go.
Essentially 2 and 3, because he also did beat Skip on an episode of Wrestling Challenge, but I don't think that's on the network.
Okay.
So we're watching Rocky 2 and Rocky 3, essentially.
Right, there we go. So your options are for the poll next week, which will be up towards the end of the week on our Chain Wrestling Twitter account. We have the WrestleMania 12 world title match between two of the greatest ever, but we don't want to watch that. We'll go back to 1995, an episode of Superstars, and check out Skip versus Barry Horowitz, and Skip Barry Horowitz at SummerSlam 95 as well. I must have seen the SummerSlam one, but I'm fairly certain I've not seen the other one. So that's going to be intriguing to me. But there we go. Those are your options. Make sure you vote, retweet, and all that good stuff. Magsy, it looks like in the chat we have plenty of people happy that Barry has been put forward.
Yeah. Barry. Mags is picking a Hitler match. Can you imagine if Hitler did wrestle? Jesus.
Goodness sake. Can we stop talking about Hitler now?
King's Pigs Banner says he loves the Barry versus Skip matches, and he also loves me. So, yeah, I think I've got a fan now. Even Dan doesn't want a 50-50 next week. I bet he changed his mind the minute you mentioned Bret Hart, though.
Maybe.
Put in the chat, Dan, quickly if you've changed your mind. King's Pigs Banner says Barry all the way. Benny is saying our non-wrestling topic should be famous Barrys. I mean, that...
Limited.
Is there a lot of famous Barrys?
I imagine it'd be easier to discuss than the crap I've had to go through this week.
And shorter. And less tormenting. And King's Pigs Banner ends the show with Barry.
There we go then. There we go.
Spoken.
The people have spoken. But make sure you get your votes in anyway. Magsy, whereabouts can they find you online with your chicken content, and if they want to be ignored when you talk about wrestling?
So for all the content that I put out, it's on TikTok at PodFarmerMags, and I do daily chicken videos, including chicken jokes, which you would get if you actually signed back into your chain_wrestling account on TikTok, because I tag you in every single one, and you do not even like or share it or anything because you're mean.
Right. I occasionally get sent something in Facebook Messenger, and it's a link to a TikTok video. So I'll click on it, and it's normally by Benny Matt, to be fair. He's sending me like funny wrestling clips, and I click on it. I've got to watch it via the browser and not go into TikTok properly because it asks me for my login, and I don't know what it is. So, but I will change that. I've had a real push on the social medias in the last week and two, so I'm going to keep that up, and I'm going to redo the Instagram, redo the Facebook, redo all that sort of stuff. Yeah, TikTok will be next, mate.
Yeah, or if you want to be ignored by me on Twitter, it's at PodFarmerMags.
There we go. PodFarmerMags. PodFarmerMags.
Podfather on Twitter, Farmer on TikTok.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Anything I'm involved in, as everyone probably already knows, you can find via the network that carries this show, SJP World Media on Facebook and Twitter and all your podcast players, platforms and providers. We've got bloody everything. More shows coming all the time. You know, we've got stuff looking at TV, wrestling, music, sport coming up, live shows being added left, right, and center as well. Make sure you're following and you're subscribing to all of that. And also, if you like your wrestling but you don't want to listen to Doctor Who, that's fine. You can check out the wrestling show's own particular channels, own particular streams. If you want to check out a little bit of everything, you can just listen to the SJP World Media main channel, mainstream, main feed, because that's where all new episodes are dropped as well. Loads of options there. Just make sure you're checking it out, subscribing, retweeting, and all that good stuff. But most importantly, you can follow this show itself on Facebook and Twitter, and very soon to be Instagram and TikTok thingy once more again, at @chain_wrestling. That's at @chain_wrestling, where you can get involved in our non-wrestling topic. God help us. And vote in the polls. Magsy, I'd like to say I've had a blast, I've had a good time, but I'm not. That's a lie. I've had fun. It's been good. It's been cringy, but it's been good. But I'm now off to spend the next God knows how many hours knelt at the side of my bed praying for forgiveness for what we've all done this evening. I'll speak to you next week, my friend.
I'm off to find some famous Barrys. See you later, guys.